A few years ago, I drove a car I couldn't afford, wore a watch I couldn't afford, and posted vacation photos that were going straight onto a credit card. And the whole time, I had $312 in my checking account. Here's the thing. Heading into 2026, the average American is carrying over $6,500 in credit card debt. At the same time, sales of aspirational luxury goods, the entry-level stuff from brands like Gucci, Louis Vuitton, BMW, are at record highs. Those two numbers shouldn't be able to coexist, but they do, every single day. So today, I want to walk you through 10 signs that someone might be what I call a 30K millionaire, someone who looks like they're worth $1 million, but whose actual net worth is closer to $30,000 or less. And by the end of this video, I'm going to give you one rule, a single system that makes sure you never accidentally become one. Let's get into it. All right, let's run through these. And I want you to be honest with yourself, not for me, just for you. Sign number 1, you lease a base model luxury car. Not because it's the smartest financial decision, because the badge on the hood does the talking for you. We'll come back to this one. It's the big one. Sign number 2, you buy the cheapest item from an expensive brand just for the logo. The $400 wallet, the $200 belt, the single item that exists purely so people recognize the name. Real wealth doesn't need a logo to confirm it. Sign number 3, you spend on VIP tables and bottle service, but check your balance before you pump gas. This one's painfully specific because it's painfully common. The night out costs more than the rent, but the rent is the thing that's actually late. Sign number 4, treat yourself is a daily habit, but you've never opened a brokerage account. The coffee, the takeout, the little upgrades, they're not the problem individually. The problem is when small treats become the entire financial strategy and investing becomes a something I'll get to. Sign number 5, you're paying 40% or more of your income on an apartment to live in the right zip code. The address becomes the asset, except it isn't one. It's a monthly subtraction with a nice view. Sign number 6, you buy things to impress people you don't actually like. Sit with that one for a second. If the people in your head when you're shopping aren't your closest friends or family, who are they? Sign number 7, your closet has multiple outfits worn exactly once for an event. The wedding outfit, the this vacation only outfit. The cost per wear on some of these items is genuinely in the hundreds of dollars. Sign number 8, you upgrade your phone every single year, but your emergency fund is zero. A $1,000 device refreshed annually, sitting next to a bank account that couldn't survive a flat tire. Sign number 9, you've normalized buy now, pay later for things that aren't necessities. Splitting a $60 dinner into 4 payments isn't a financial tool. It's a sign your cash flow and your spending have quietly disconnected from each other. Sign number 10, you measure your worth by your paycheck, not your net worth. This is the one that ties everything together. High income feels like wealth. It is not the same thing. Income is what comes in. Wealth is what's left after everything else. And for a lot of high earners, that number is smaller than their entry-level employees. If even 3 or 4 of those felt a little too familiar, don't worry, that's basically everyone. The question is what we do about it, and that starts with the math. Let's go back to sign number 1, the leased luxury car, because this is where the real damage happens. A base model luxury SUV lease in 2026 runs somewhere around $750 a month. 3-year lease. At the end of it, you own nothing. You return the car and start again. Now, here's the part that should genuinely bother you. If instead of that lease, you took that same $750 every single month and put it into an S&P 500 index fund, averaging a historical return of about 8%, here's what happens. After 3 years, the leased car has cost you about $27,000 total, while the invested version would be worth about $30,500. After 10 years, the lease has cost about $90,000, while the invested version would be roughly $135,000. After 30 years, the lease has cost about $270,000, while the invested version would be roughly $1.1 million. That's not a typo. $750 a month for 30 years becomes over $1.1 million. Same monthly amount, same person, same income. The only difference is where that money was allowed to go. And here's the brutal part. Most people leasing that car don't even notice the $750. It gets absorbed into normal life within a few months. It becomes invisible. Meanwhile, the other version of that person, the one investing it, is quietly building a number that changes their entire retirement. This is the actual cost of looking rich. It's not the $750. It's the version of your future that $750 could have built and never will because it left your account before it ever had the chance. So why do smart, capable people make these choices over and over again? It's not stupidity, it's psychology, and there are three specific patterns at play. The first is the ostrich effect. This is sign number 3 in action, spending on the VIP table, then avoiding your banking app for 3 days. The ostrich effect is our tendency to literally avoid information that might cause us stress. We don't check the balance because some part of us already knows what we'll find, and not knowing feels safer than knowing. The second is lifestyle creep. This shows up in signs 4, 5, and 8. Every time your income goes up, your expenses quietly rise to meet it, sometimes exceed it. The raise that was supposed to go toward investing instead goes toward a nicer apartment, a better phone, more treat-yourself days. 6 months later, you're earning more and saving exactly the same amount. Nothing. The third is scarcity mindset. This one's a little different, and it's sign number 10 in disguise. Scarcity mindset is the belief, often rooted in real past experience, that money has to be spent or enjoyed now because there might not be enough later. It can actually push people toward visible spending, because if the future feels uncertain anyway, the logo, the table, the lease at least feels like proof that things are okay right now. Individually, these patterns feel harmless. Together, they're the entire mechanism behind being a 30K millionaire. So here's the system. I call it the 1% rule, and it's deliberately simple. Before any non-essential purchase, calculate 1% of your current net worth. Not your income, your net worth. If the item costs more than that 1%, you wait 48 hours. No exceptions, no rationalizing, just 48 hours. Here's why this works. Income-based spending decisions ask, can I afford the payment? That question is almost always yes, which is exactly the trap. Net worth-based spending asks a completely different question. Does this purchase match what I've actually built? If your net worth is $15,000, then 1% is $150. A $750 a month lease isn't even close, and the 48-hour pause gives your brain time to separate the want from the impulse. If your net worth is $500,000, 1% is $5,000, and suddenly that same purchase might genuinely make sense. This single shift, basing decisions on net worth instead of income, is, in my opinion, the closest thing to the actual definition of wealth whispers it doesn't scream. Because the people whose net worth actually supports the lifestyle, they very rarely need anyone else to know about it. I want to be honest with you. I lived several of these signs. Early in my career, I leased a base model luxury sedan, not because I needed it, because I had a meeting with a client and I genuinely believed the car in the parking lot would change how seriously they took me. That lease was $420 a month for 3 years. That's about $15,000 total. If I'd invested that $420 a month instead at 8% over the 30 years since I made that decision, that's roughly $630,000 I voluntarily walked away from for a car I don't even remember the color of anymore. I'm not telling you this so you feel bad. I'm telling you because if it happened to me while I was actively learning about money, it can happen to anyone. The trap doesn't care how smart you are. It only cares whether you noticed it in time. If any of those 10 signs hit a little too close to home, and honestly, for most of us, at least 1 or 2 will, drop the word whisper in the comments. I want to see how many of us are in this together. No judgment, just honesty. Now that you understand the signs of fake wealth, the next logical step is to see what the opposite actually looks like, not in theory, but in someone's real life over real years. For that, I want you to watch this video right here. Your life living in the same small house for 20 years.